Hello and welcome to another episode of the Made in Carroll Show. My name is Jason Stambaugh.
And I'm Dennis Twigg.
But we might not have known that. I kind of blew it the last episode.
Yeah, I mean, I just showed up in a Made in Carroll shirt and hung out and said like 5 or 6 things.
And we just want to make it clear that Dennis isn't just a fanboy who party crashed the episode. So we'll apologize. But Dennis is actually a new part of our team and will make an appearance as a co-host on the show from time to time, which is super, super exciting. So Dennis, even though I ghosted you again, we're very, very happy to have you. And Dennis will again be joining us today for the remainder of this episode, where we will continue our journey as we meet the entrepreneurs and families behind Carroll's craft wine, beer, and spirits boom. And today's episode has us at Ruhlman's Brewery out here in Hampstead, Maryland. So let's go take a tour.
Let's see it. This is a real farm.
This is a real legit farm. Henry!
Hi, Jason.
It's good to see you today.
Nice seeing you. Come on in.
Thanks. Matt, hello. Yeah, thanks for being on the show.
No problem. Good to see you guys.
So this is where all of the tasty Ruhlman's beer is brewed. So kind of give us a sense of, what do you do in this facility? Kind of walk us through what we're looking at here.
Okay. Well, what we do, we grind our grain in another area, bring it up here, and we put it into this brew house here, which is a 2-vessel tank. It has a mash tun on this side and a brew kettle on the other side. So we soak our grain in this side, transfer the liquid to the brew kettle, and then that's where we do our cooking. We cook it for about 90 minutes. After it's done cooking, that's where we add our hops with the any other spices and stuff we're doing. Cook it for 90 minutes, and then once it's done cooking, we cool it down. We use a whirlpool, separate any solids that's in it, and then we transfer it from there through our heat exchanger into a fermenter, which is back behind.
So let's take a couple of steps back. So kind of got a sense of the process. You got all the equipment for a full cycle of brewing here, except the grinder. So what type of grain? What type of grains are you using in your beers?
We use anything from barley, rye, oats is the type of grains that we use after it's been malted.
Now, so is this Carroll County grains, or are you kind of purchasing grains from all over?
This isn't Carroll County grain. We've tried to raise some grain and malt it ourselves, and we really didn't have too much success doing
But
that.
you do grow some hops here, correct?
We do grow our hops, yes.
Very cool.
I use my own hops in all our beer. Hops are the area that the hops come from dictates the flavor of the hops. So my hops don't taste like somebody else's hops.
Very cool.
So my hops give my beer its own characteristics. You can take my recipes and use somebody else's hops, and it's not going to taste like my beer.
Yeah, very, very, very cool. So we got local hops in your beer. So how much beer do you produce out of this facility, every year?
Last year was probably about 50 barrels, and there's 31 gallons in a barrel. So that's about 1,500 gallons.
Okay.
I guess it is something
So that's a lot of beer.
That's a lot of beer.
Yeah. Or in my case, a hard evening. No, I'm just joking. So I think we got Matt here. Matt's your son, correct? So I think that every time we see a facility like this, so you're not like some big old company who decided to start brewing beer. You're a farmer, I think, first.
Yes. I grew up on a farm. I was on a farm pretty well all my life. So that's really is my roots, growing stuff and using that growing up on a farm, we had animals. And actually when I was young, we had hogs and we slopped the hogs. And the slopping the hogs, the mash, the hogs weren't able to get all their feed out of the corner of the troughs. It fermented and it smelled like beer. It smelled like Budweiser. So
American light lager.
so up to about 16 years ago, I didn't even drink beer because I couldn't get it past my nose. So from that point, I was playing horseshoes with my brother, and he said somebody gave him some beer and he didn't like it. He says, he asked me to try it. So I tried it and I said, yeah, I could drink that. it didn't taste like Budweiser. It had some other flavors to it. And then when my son got older, I started drinking beer then. My son got older and he started bringing home some craft beers.
Okay.
And, you know, he liked the hoppy stuff. I liked the darker stuff.
I'd love to try everything, and he was very happy to find that there was other stuff in light than American Light Lager, you know. And I got him, I guess, with my brothers, a gift for Father's Day, or for his birthday it was, and we got him one of the homebrew kits, and it was just on top of the stove, and he made his first, just little simple on top of the stove extract batch, and was like, yeah, this is pretty fun. Yep. I'm ready to go full grain. And after like 2 batches, and before we knew it, he was in this full time and asking his father, who was here on the farm, if he could, you know, grow some hops. And before you knew it, 24 plants turned into what? More than an acre.
1,600 plants.
Yeah.
Better than an acre.
Yeah. Wow. So that's how a farmer goes into brewing, and your kit has gotten substantially larger. Yeah.
Making 5 gallons on top of the stove. I can make up to 10 barrels at a time, which is about 310 gallons at a time. So,
Very
yes.
cool. Now I know behind me we haven't talked about this yet, but I think that this is I think the only Carroll County beer that's currently being bottled and distributed at this point. So and that's, I guess, looks like it's happening right here. So talk about the bottling and what you bottle and sort of thing.
Well, what we do with bottling. With this tank over here is our bright tank, our conditioning tank, where the beer gets its carbon dioxide, the carbonation. It has a little gray box. It's a computer that regulates everything over there for that. It takes about 16 hours to carbonate it. Once it's carbonated, we hook a hose up from our tank to our bottling machine, and we start bottling. What we do, we take our bottles, put it onto the machine using those jigs. We can do a case at a time, 24 bottles. We pick them up, we rinse them, we put the bottles onto the machine. The bottle, it fills it and then caps it. And we can, the way it's set up now, we can do about a case a minute, 24 bottles a minute. As it comes off of the machine, it goes on to this other machine, which is our labeler, and it labels the beer, labels the bottles, comes out to this end, and then we package it into our 12 packs, is what we do.
Very cool, and I'm really looking forward. I know you got a bunch of beer for sale in the tasting room and all that stuff. I'm looking forward to tasting a couple of these beers, but I know there's something really special about this place. You want to take us outside for a bit. This is a farm brewery, and I think that I was here about a month ago, and I learned about a farm brewery for the first time. So, tell us a bit about what's special about the farm brewery, because I think you could do more than just have a beer while you're here. So
You can do more than have a beer while you're here. We actually, right now, we have a 20-hole disc golf course.
Okay.
On the farm. It encompasses about 18 acres of the farm. Yep. We also we have discs that you can rent or you can buy and play. It costs $5 a day to play. You can, no matter whether you play a couple courses.
What hole is that?
That's hole 20 from the very top of the hill. It's a nice 500 foot, about 70 foot of elevation loss, so you can throw your discs and just let them glide, not lose them in the field. So it's a nice time to get out, you know, when it's nice and cool and
what is
let them
that
fly.
over there? Is that some hops set up area?
This is my hop field. Yes, okay. This is the poles that hold the cables up. We stretch cables across the top and put strings. As you can see, there's still a couple strings hanging. We're in the process of cleaning them up.
How much of your hops do you use yourself, and how much do you sell?
I use most of them myself. I do sell some to Pub Dog or to Flying Dog. Okay. And actually that's how we package our hops.
Wow.
We vacuum seal and freeze. And they're good for probably about 3 years. You can keep them as long as they stay frozen. So, but yeah, I sell them to a couple other breweries. I also sell the rhizomes, the roots, if people want to raise their own hops.
And home brewers love to come pick their own.
Yeah, very cool. Now I know that in addition to disc golf and the hops that you're growing here, over the hill there's a fishing hole, right? So I can come get some beer and go fishing.
Yes, you can go fishing.
Just don't fall in, right?
Don't fall in. No.
But if
No.
you do, there's disc golf discs in there you can pull out.
And maybe importantly, I noticed this. Is that a real functioning outhouse over there, or is that just for show?
That is just for show. Actually, it sits on top of my 2,000-gallon storage tank for my wastewater out of the brewery,
Oh, my
which we
gosh.
recycle.
Very cool.
That's why we like to use as little water as possible and be as green as possible since we're on a farm.
Yeah. So just to kind of wrap up for a lot of folks who aren't familiar with a farm brewery, I think the big distinction is that in addition to the beer, you've got, this whole place is available for people to explore and be on. And can I drink my beer while I fish, or do I have to keep it in the tasting room?
No, with being a farm brewery, I have the whole farm licensed, so you can drink any place on the farm.
I think,
While you're playing disc golf, while you're fishing. We also have a pavilion that we have some concerts, we have some charity events here that you can drink any place on the farm.
that's awesome. So we've talked a lot about this beer, and I really am looking forward to tasting it. Let's head on to the tasting room.
Okay.
This episode is sponsored by Crawford Yingling Insurance. Carroll County is built on the foundation of hard-working individuals who put others before themselves. Crawford Yingling Insurance is no different. Founded in 1919 by Carroll Crawford, Crawford Yingling Insurance has been fulfilling business and personal insurance needs for nearly 100 years, and client needs have always been most important. Crawford Yingling Insurance is run by John and Benjamin Yingling. The agency offers over 12 different carriers who are able to accommodate anyone's personal or business insurance needs. Crawford Yingling Insurance is a one-of-a-kind agency due to its unbeatable world-class customer service and guaranteed quick response times. They are absolutely proud to be made in Carroll. You can learn more about the agency by visiting them online at www.crawfordyinglinginsurance.com. Season 2 of the Made in Carroll show is sponsored by the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber has promoted a sound economic environment for local businesses in this community since 1924. By building relationships and forging personal connections, the Chamber makes for stronger business community. This past year, the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce has presented the Carroll County Public Safety Awards, the Outstanding Teacher Awards, the Small Business Awards, the Carroll Biz Challenge, the Drug Expo, and the list could go on. The Carroll County Chamber of Commerce exists to showcase what's truly made in Carroll. All right, well, I can't wait to try some of these beers. Why don't we start with sort of the beer that is a mainstay of Ruhlman's, and maybe some of the biggest fans that you've got would rave about. Give us like the number one beer that you've got here, the one you make the most of.
Right now, I would say it would probably be the I Am, which is a sweet potato porter. Wrong one.
Original batch, we actually grew the sweet potatoes right here on the brewery.
Very cool.
We had Centennial, and I'm not sure, Old Glory maybe, that's the other variety.
Okay.
And actually mixes those right in with the grain. So,
Okay.
best way to get your sweet potatoes is in your beer.
Yeah, it's actually a
So-
vegetable, so.
So is it technically a vegetable, a sweet potato?
Well,
It's a tuber.
Is it a
underground.
tuber? Okay.
It does have
Yeah.
seeds in it.
All right.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Fantastic. All right. Get some nose on it. Get a little spice to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the sweet potato's not overpowering or anything. It's
No.
like it's your normal.
No.
It's a normal bandwidth of beer you'd expect, but it has that extra.
It has the spices that sort of gives you that sweet potato type of character that you would think from a sort of festive November, December type of day.
Some Thanksgiving.
But the sweet potato sugars add to the alcohol, so it does push it up a little bit. What's the percentage on this?
This is a little better than 6% alcohol.
Okay.
So, but it really doesn't taste like it. It's smooth. It's mellow. It's a good combination.
Very nice. Yeah, definitely like the spice on that.
Yeah. Do you do this year round or is this seasonal?
We brewed it last spring for a festival down in Washington, and the response was so good. A lot of people told us, make it year round. Don't just make it a seasonal. Make it year round. So,
Awesome.
dark beers are supposed to be for the winter time, but I like dark beers year round. So I plan on making it year round.
All right, so what's up next?
We'll do the red ale next. This is one of my original beers
Okay.
that I came out with.
much lighter in color.
This is a good all-around beer, whether you like light-colored beers or dark-colored beers. It's a good, has mainstay.
Has a tart finish to it as well that a lot of people, especially on a hot day, find quenching and refreshing.
Yes.
And still a solid, although it's a light body, alcohol in there. I think about 5%.
It's about 5% alcohol. So, a lot of people claim I put spices in it, but there's no spices in it.
Yep.
Everything comes from the hops.
And
So,
from year to year and batch to batch, it does change in flavor a little
Okay.
bit with the different hops. Every year they come out a little bit different, you know. Just like
Yep.
grapes and wine, everything from a farm
Got
is
it.
going to be slightly different with every batch.
Very cool.
depending on the season, depending on how much water and the temperature and everything.
And so all these beers, I know that we already talked about the bottles, which you guys. So this isn't. I could buy these in growlers or kegs, or how do you sell these beers?
We can sell it anywhere. If you come here, we can sell it to you by the pint. So
Okay.
you can consume it here on the premises. We sell it to you anything from a 6-pack, 12-pack case,
Okay.
growlers. We can even sell kegs. So whatever way you want to buy it, we can sell it to you.
Very cool.
So, and we're really not limited in the amount that we can sell. Certain breweries, they have regulations. You can only sell 228 ounces.
Yeah.
But being a farm brewery, we don't have that restriction on us.
Very cool.
Our kegs are 6-barrel kegs, so they're a little over 5 gallons. So
Okay.
people come and pick one up for a party. It's really great. You can get the pumps from us, and then bring it back.
They hold about 40 pints. So if you're having a party, that's usually a good number. You don't have a half a keg of beer left over.
Yep.
So we hate to waste beer. So
So the end was definitely spicy. That one had more of a sour, more tart on the end. I think that kind of captured it. So
Yeah.
so what's the last beer we're going to taste today?
the last one we're going to taste is the Tavern Pale Ale. That one is brewed with fresh oranges.
Okay.
And has also fresh ginger in it,
Okay.
and a few other spices. So
So this one is actually spiced. So
this one is
okay,
actually
okay.
spiced, yes.
And you'll notice the sour finish in there as well.
Okay.
Yes,
a lot of
and
citrus added straight to it. I think not only the zest from the oranges, but actually the orange juice and pulp and everything was thrown in on it.
right.
Okay.
So,
I'm definitely picking up on that orange like right away.
yeah. People like it. It's a little different beer than your normal
Absolutely.
American lager.
As a distinctly citrus, and so if you're into
Right.
that, it's going to be right up
Right.
your alley for
Yeah.
sure.
Always have different flavors here. A lot of the times, we come back and one batch to the next, it's going to be a
Yeah,
little bit
I would
different
definitely say these are
experience.
very, very distinctive for sure.
And he likes to he lets me fool around with his flavors a little bit. His milk
Okay.
stout, we've made a mint chocolate milk stout with before, taking the milk stout
Oh,
and then
wow.
adding cocoa powder and fresh mint, things like that. So we get experimental. And, the Mr. IPA was just a one-time batch that we did.
Okay,
just trying
so
some
tell us
hops
about
and
that. So
everything.
what makes it the Mr. IPA? Is it like the
And
IPA?
Mr. stands for Matt Ruhlman, my
Okay.
IPA, because I'm always complaining about his IPAs that they don't have enough hops in them. Come on, hop it up. You need more hops. So we tried to make one that was even hoppier, but
Okay.
we're still working on dry hopping around here, so we'll see if we can up it even more.
But now what's dry hopping?
Dry hopping is when you add the hops to the actual fermenter. So a lot of times my dad adds them in the boil, but if you're adding them in the fermenter, you're going to get more of that hop flavor and aroma without necessarily getting the bitterness. But if you leave it in too long, you're going to get some vegetable flavors. So it's a balance, and it's also can be a mess and a beer waster in some of the larger breweries. So it's something that you're not going to do all the time, but I want beer I want to drink. So
Yeah.
I try to keep messing with stuff until we get what we want.
Very cool. I think that we didn't spend a lot of time talking this the tour, but I think this is a great, sort of another really cool thing about a farm brewery and the operation you guys have. This is like a family operation, right? So in addition to you two, like what,
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's a family operation. Everybody that actually is involved with the brewery is a relative, a blood relative, except for one. he's a friend who's my solicitor down in Washington. He's the only one that's not a blood relative, but everybody else is either
the family
blood
here.
relative. It's a family, cool. Yes, family member.
Bottling day is, my kids, my wife, my mom, my dad, my aunt, my uncle. So, when we're working out in the hop field, the kids are running around playing too.
Yeah.
And I'm playing on the disc golf course, and mom's babysitting the kids, and my wife over here will be helping out with stuff all the time. So
that's super cool. It kind of makes me jealous. I grew up. My dad, he has a painting business, so I grew up going to work with him. And instead of doing something fun, moving bottles around, I'm sanding trim and being gopher boy. Go out the car and go for this and go for that. That's
I started working with him construction as a kid too.
Okay.
So I've been there. We've done that. We're still remodeling. Last year when I broke my ankles, we were in there doing drywall together.
Wow.
So we have video games in the car I've got to put in there and install for the kids so they can come and play video games all day while we drink beer.
I can imagine worse ways to spend your time. So I think that the one thing that we're not really able to capture on video, certainly for those who are just listening to the audio of this episode, I think is that the vibe of this place, I think this is a truly special and unique place where I sort of think that this embodies, in many ways, Carroll County. We have the rural, we have the farm product, and I think the family operation, I think that is something that a lot of folks that haven't been here absolutely need to come here. So just to get the full experience, I know I'm coming back to play some disc golf and grab a couple of pints and walk around the farm and going fishing. What do you got? What do you got in the fishing hole? What's in there? What do you got? Catfish or
we got some large catfish, bass, bluegill.
And how large? Are these the kind of catfish that are going to drag me into the pond? Or are they? What kind of catfish
we had
are
a
talking?
4 or 5 pounder in there a while ago. It was funny. We had a pregnant woman sitting on the end of the dock, and I thought it was going to pull her in, but she managed to get it.
They're no joke.
I think 3 or 4 pound bass, a couple of those in there.
Wow.
Lots of bluegill. So plenty of fun for the kids, and we're a private situation, so you don't need a fishing license. So if you don't feel like going out and getting the fishing license, you can come over here and not have to worry.
Cool. So I think that, again, that's awesome, and I'm looking forward to coming back. And I'm sure a lot of folks didn't know that this place existed. They might have heard of the beer, but never knew that there's so much to do on the farm. So are there any events, give us a sense of what's coming up in 2018 that folks might get excited about in terms of events here on the farm?
So with the disc golf, I know that every year we have our professional disc golf tournament in August. So in August we'll have the Badfish Open, and that's PDGA C-tier tournament. But we will probably have a Mugs and Mulligans tournament in March, which is just a tournament to get out, have some beer, and get more people into the sport. And then we'll probably have an anniversary party. I'm thinking
we have our anniversary party the last Saturday in June, and the Saturday before that, we have a charity here for the Carroll County Humane Society.
Very cool.
They come here and do what they call it, wolf stock, is what they call it. This will be the 3rd year that they're coming back. And each year it gets a little bit bigger, a lot more fun. We have a couple times during the year, we have concerts here. We have a pavilion. People are able to rent it to have parties, reunions, anniversary parties, wedding receptions, that kind of stuff here.
Awesome.
So, and it's with it being a royal atmosphere, it's very relaxed. We had a wedding reception here last year, and it was actually a crab feast.
That's
and
awesome.
Everybody just loved it. I mean, and the kids can come and run around. Nobody, you don't have to worry about traffic and people
awesome.
Like that. So
and we're dog friendly too.
We're pet friendly, yes.
Awesome. Yes. Well, guys, I think this place is special. The beer is special, and I as I close every episode, I just want to sincerely thank you for making something awesome right here in Carroll County, Maryland.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to the Made in Carroll show. This episode was hosted by me, Jason Stambaugh, and my good friend and colleague, Dennis Twigg. The audio, the video, really everything was produced by 127 Creative. As you can see, they really can create and communicate everything. You can find our videos on Facebook and YouTube, or download our podcast really anywhere where podcasts are found. Thanks again to the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce and Crawford Yingling Insurance for sponsoring today's episode. And finally, thank you to all of the backers of our Season 2 Kickstarter campaign. You guys know who you are. We are grateful for your support.
and we thank you for helping us make something awesome right here in Carroll County, Maryland.